I swear to God, when I turned and saw my mom walking down the aisle, I almost fainted right there in front of everyone. This was supposed to be my wedding, my once-in-a-lifetime moment, but all eyes weren't on me. They were glued to her. She wasn't wearing the elegant mother-of-the-bride gown we'd all imagined. No, my mom showed up in a dress so damn low-cut it looked like something out of a burlesque show. I'm not exaggerating. You could literally see the sides of her nipples when she leaned forward. And she wasn't walking fast either. She dragged herself down the aisle, real slow, almost like she was modeling, pausing just enough to make sure every single guest had time to stare at her body. My cousins later told me they thought she was having a wardrobe malfunction. But no, this was on purpose. My own mother wanted everyone's attention on her. And when I heard her whisper to a guest, "I wanted all eyes on me, I paid for this wedding," I felt my whole body go cold. Can you imagine? On the day I was supposed to feel like the most loved, the most celebrated woman in the room, my own mother decided she had to steal the spotlight? But here's the thing, that was only the beginning. What came after made everything so much worse. I'm Kayla, I'm 27, and I live in Dallas, Texas. My wedding was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I had spent months planning, working extra shifts, saving every penny just so I could have a day that felt like magic. My fiancé Adam was my rock through the whole process. His parents chipped in, he chipped in, and yes, my mom contributed too. But from the very start, there was signs she didn't see this as my wedding. She saw it as hers. Let me rewind a little. Growing up, my mom, Denise, was always complicated. To outsiders, she looked like the perfect church-going conservative mom, always in blouses buttoned to her chin, skirts to the floor, polite smiles. But behind closed doors, she had this dark streak of competition with everyone, with her sisters, her friends, and yes, even with me. She'd say things like, "Kayla, don't think you're prettier than me just because you're young. I still turn heads." Or she'd tell me, "If I had the chances you have now, I'd be 10 times more successful." I used to laugh it off, but deep down, it made me feel like I was never allowed to shine. When Adam proposed, I thought maybe this was the moment she'd finally just be my mom, supportive, loving, happy for me. And at first she played the part. She told everyone how proud she was. She told me she'd cover half the wedding cost. But then little things started happening. She'd criticize my dress fittings. "Kayla, are you sure that neckline flatters you? Maybe a higher cut would look better. You don't want to look trashy." She questioned my venue. "Why not pick the Hilton downtown instead? This place feels basic." And she rolled her eyes when I said I wanted a simple, heartfelt ceremony instead of a huge show. But I brushed it all aside, because isn't that what daughters are supposed to do? Keep the peace? And besides, I told myself, she's paying, maybe that makes her feel entitled to opinions. What I didn't know was that she was planning something so humiliating, so selfish, it would turn my dream wedding into a goddamn nightmare. You know that feeling when the air in the room changes, like everyone knows something you don't, but no one's saying a damn word? That's exactly how it felt in those last hours before the ceremony. The church was gorgeous, stained glass windows, casting the afternoon sun, casting little rainbows across the pews. The smell of polished wood mixed with the faint sweetness of lilies lined up at the altar. My friends kept fixing my veil, touching up my lipstick, reminding me to breathe. But whenever my mom's name came up, silence. I overheard one of my cousins whisper to another, "Just don't look directly at her, it'll make it worse." And when I asked, "What do you mean, worse?" they froze like deer in headlights and quickly changed the subject. I wanted to storm out and demand answers, but it was my wedding day. I had a groom waiting, a church full of guests, and a clock ticking down. I had to keep it together. Still, I couldn't shake it. My aunt, the same one who sent me that cryptic text, came over while I was getting my shoes buckled. Her face was pale. She leaned down and whispered, "Honey, just remember this. The day is about you and Adam, not her." Not her? I swear it was like everyone was preparing me for a funeral, not a wedding. Then came the lineup before the procession. Bridesmaids ready, flower girl clutching her basket, ring bearer fidgeting with his little pillow. My dad stood by my side, trying to smile but looking tense. And then I heard it, the clicking of my mom's heels on the church floor, sharp, deliberate, echoing. I turned my head slightly, just enough to glimpse her from behind a partition. All I could see was shimmer, like sequins. Way too many sequins for a mother of the bride dress. My stomach dropped. "Dad," I whispered, "what is she wearing?" He didn't look at me. He just sighed, adjusted his tie, and muttered, "Don't ask me. She wouldn't listen." Wouldn't listen? What the fuck did that mean? My bridesmaid Chloe caught my eye. She gave me this sympathetic smile, like the kind you give someone right before breaking bad news. That's when I knew. This wasn't just a dress. This was a statement. My mom had chosen this moment, my moment, to do something that would cut me to the bone. But I still hadn't seen it. Not fully. The music swelled, the organ filled the church with that grand, booming sound that makes your chest vibrate. The doors opened, the procession started, and as my bridesmaids walked down one by one, I waited. My hands were trembling around my bouquet. Then the doors opened again, and there she was, my mom, and the room went dead silent. When I say the church went silent, I mean silent. No whispers, no coughs, not even the sound of someone shifting in a pew. Just this heavy, stunned quiet, like the whole damn building was holding its breath. And then I saw why. My mom, Denise, the woman who raised me, the woman who preached about modesty my whole life, walked into my wedding dressed like she was about to headline some Vegas strip show. Her gown? Jesus! It was jet black, dripping in sequins that caught the light like a disco ball. The neckline wasn't just low, it was non-existent. The thing plunged all the way down to her stomach, leaving her chest spilling out for the entire congregation to see. And because it was cut so deep, there was no bra. None. You could literally see the curve of her breasts from the side. I heard someone gasp. Another person whispered, "Oh my God." And when she took those slow, exaggerated steps down the aisle, her sequined dress shimmered with every movement, drawing eyes like a damn spotlight. And here's the kicker. She was smiling. Not nervous, not embarrassed, smiling like a queen strutting down her runway, like this was her coronation, not my wedding. My cousins told me later they saw more than they ever wanted to see. Actual side nipple when she leaned toward one of the pews. I wanted to fucking disappear into the floor right then and there. But it got worse. Because as she floated past guests, she leaned in just enough for people to hear her whisper, "All eyes on me. I paid for this wedding." I nearly dropped my bouquet. Can you imagine? Guests were staring at her breasts, whispering about her gown, thinking something had gone wrong, while I stood there at the altar like some forgotten extra in my own damn movie. And to make it even more humiliating, she slowed her walk down the aisle to a crawl. Not because the dress made it hard to walk. No, because she wanted people to look. She wanted their stares, their gasps, their fucking attention. I locked eyes with Adam, my fiancé, and even he looked shaken. His jaw was clenched, his face red. His mom leaned over to him, whispering something that made his ears burn. My heart pounded in my chest so loud, I thought it might drown out the music. But here's the thing. As awful as this was, as humiliating as it felt in that moment, it was only the tip of the iceberg. Because the stunt she pulled with that dress, that wasn't just a cry for attention. It was part of something darker, something calculated. And I didn't know it yet, but she had plans that went far beyond just stealing the spotlight. The reception should have been the happiest blur of my life. The music, the food, the laughter. But all I could feel was her, my mom, sitting at the head table like she owned the place, laughing too loud, leaning into every conversation like she was the damn star. Every time someone came up to me to say congratulations, she found a way to butt in, hugging longer, laughing louder. At one point, she even raised her glass and shouted, "Well, without me, none of this would be happening." The room went awkwardly quiet before people forced out a laugh. I slipped outside for air, my hands shaking, and that's when I heard her. She was on the patio with two of my aunts, sipping wine and saying, "Kayla thinks today is about her, but she doesn't get it. I'll always be the one pulling the strings. Always." Pulling the strings. The words cut straight into me. And right then I knew if I didn't do something, she'd keep stealing every moment of my life, every celebration, every milestone. She'd always make sure the spotlight burned on her, not me. But what she didn't know, I was done playing her puppet. I didn't want the cliche gotcha moment. Screenshots, recordings, public fights, too messy, too obvious. No, I wanted something cleaner, quieter. I wanted her to feel exactly what she made me feel in that church. Invisible. So I did the one thing she'd never expect. I played along. "Mom," I told her on the phone a few days later, "people are still talking about how stunning you looked. Honestly, I think you stole the show." She laughed, smug and satisfied. "Well, I told you, Kayla, I still have it." And that's when I began feeding the monster. Every time she bragged, I encouraged her. I told her she should go bolder next time. More sequins, more sparkle. "People admire your confidence, Mom. Don't tone it down," I'd say. And she listened. Oh, she listened. Soon she was overdressing for everything. A thigh-slit gown at a christening. Rhinestones at a barbecue. Cleavage on display at a church fundraiser. At first, people excused it. Then they laughed. Then they whispered. But she never suspected me because I was right there, smiling, telling her she looked amazing. I was setting her up for the kill. My birthday was the moment I chose. 28 years old, my first birthday as a married woman, and I told her it would just be a small, cozy dinner. Nothing fancy, family only. But behind her back, I planned a party. Not huge, just big enough to matter. I invited my friends, Adam's family, cousins, everyone close, and I gave them one simple instruction. Dress casual. Jeans, sweaters, hoodies, comfort clothes. Except my mom. To her, I said, "Mom, this is your chance. Everyone will be expecting you to shine. Don't hold back. Wear something unforgettable." And oh, did she. When she walked in, the room froze. Sequins glittering under the lights, neckline plunging so low it made people gasp, her hair teased high, lipstick blood red. She thought she was about to steal the spotlight again. But everyone else was in denim and flannel, cozy, comfortable, relaxed. The silence wasn't awe. It was pity, disgust, suppressed laughter. Her smile twitched, faltered, and I just looked at her and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Wow, Mom, you really went all out." The chuckles started. My cousins smirked. Adam's mom raised her eyebrows. Her sisters looked away. And for the first time in my life, I saw it. My mother's face crack. Not into rage, not into arrogance, but into something hollow, empty. Because in that moment, she wasn't admired. She wasn't envied. She wasn't powerful. She was ridiculous. And just like that, she felt what she had made me feel on my wedding day. Invisible. So that's my story. My wedding was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, but instead, my own mother tried to make it about her. I gave her the spotlight she craved, and then I took it away in the darkest way possible. But now, I want to hear from you. What would you have done in my place? Would you have let it go, or would you have humiliated her the way I did? If you connected with this story, hit that like button to show your support. Subscribe and join our community, where stories of betrayal, revenge, and justice are told every week. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss the next one. Because here, every betrayal has a voice, and every story deserves to be told.